Zhang Yi revved his snowmobile along the frozen banks of the Lujiang River, Zhou Haimei perched beside him, when a sudden bark shattered the quiet. A pack of 8 snarling dogs surged from the ice, driven by 4 villagers brandishing makeshift sleds. The villagers, hailing from Sudong village, shouted demands, their eyes flickering between greed for the sleek snowmobile and desire for Zhou Haimei herself. A fisherman hurled a harpoon that whistled past Zhang Yi's arm, forcing him to slam the brakes. The abrupt stop sent Zhou Haimei sprawling into the snow, her famed composure shattered into sobs. The tension crackled as the 4 men, one wielding a machete, circled the immobilized pair, dogs snapping at their heels. Zhang Yi, calm despite the chaos, lifted his pistol and warned them away. Their bravado faltered when the barrel glinted, but the villagers, hardened by countless battles, pressed on, demanding a toll for passage through their claimed territory. Their leader, a roguish man named Su Xingwang, threatened to seize either the snowmobile or the woman, while the others counted the bullets in Zhang Yi's gun with hungry eyes. Realizing the imminent danger to Zhou Haimei from the rabid pack, Zhang Yi made a swift decision. He fired 4 precise shots, each finding a head, and the 4 villagers collapsed in a spray of blood, their threat silenced in an instant. With the men dead, the 8 dogs, unrestrained and feral, lunged forward, their teeth bared and blood dripping. Zhou Haimei, trembling and covered in snow, clung to the snowmobile as the beasts closed in. The river's opposite bank showed more figures from Shujia town rushing toward the scene, hinting at a larger confrontation. Zhang Yi, gun still smoking, faced the snarling horde, the cold wind carrying the echo of his gunfire across the ice, leaving the fate of the pair hanging in the frigid air. Gunfire cracked through the icy air, but the snarling dogs only grew more ferocious, lunging at Zhang Yi and the trembling Zhou Haimei. Zhou's scream echoed across the frozen plain as the beasts closed in, their teeth bared. Zhang Yi reacted with grim resolve, firing his pistol to fell the 2 dogs nearest to Zhou, yet 6 more surged forward before he could react. In a desperate move he shouted "Dimensional Gate" and opened a shimmering portal, thrusting the remaining hounds into an alternate dimension. The portal sealed with a rush of wind, and the barking vanished, leaving a heavy silence broken only by the ragged breaths of the 2 survivors. Zhang Yi felt the weight of the close call. A bite could have cost him flesh and a deadly virus, but his interdimensional defense proved a lifesaver, confirming the near-superhuman utility of his ability. With the immediate threat gone, Zhang Yi lifted the shaken Zhou Haimei onto the snowmobile and sped away, the cold wind whipping past as he glanced back at the scene. The bodies of the 4 young men from Sudong village lay scattered, their deaths a stark reminder of the price of rash aggression. When Su Dahai and his men arrived, they found the corpses and the empty space where their 8 trained dogs should have been. The villagers murmured in disbelief, noting the strange disappearance of the dogs and suspecting Zhang Yi's extraordinary powers. Su Dahai lamented his earlier warning about confronting strangers, while Su Manjin questioned the missing hounds, noting the pack's loyalty would never allow such an escape. The elders, led by Su Dongsheng, convened with Su Chunlei, whose private indulgences were abruptly interrupted by their urgent arrival. The elders demanded answers, and after a tense exchange, Su Chunlei acknowledged the threat, proclaiming that a fated enemy might be testing his own burgeoning powers. Back in the shelter, Zhang Yi's thoughts turned inward as he navigated the snow-covered streets toward Yuelu residential area. The river's frozen surface shortened the distance to his opponent to less than a kilometer, a fact that both unsettled and sharpened his resolve. He reflected on his defensive capabilities, his dimensional portal and the newly named total counterattack, recognizing that while he could not easily initiate conflict, his sanctuary remained impregnable to ordinary foes. Arriving at Building 25, he parked the snowmobile, the area now a strict no-go zone after he had cleared the surrounding structures. He instructed Zhou Haimei to exit the vehicle, her heart still racing from the ordeal. As they ascended the 24-story tower, Zhang Yi checked the security feeds, confirming that Zhou Kur was reading peacefully and Uncle Yu lay undisturbed in his hospital bed. Inside the shelter, Zhou Kur's eyes widened at the sight of Zhou Haimei, a mixture of surprise and wariness flickering across her face. She greeted Zhang Yi with practiced cheer, yet her scrutiny of the newcomer hinted at underlying tension. The shelter's interior remained pristine, its private bathrooms, keyless doors, and ample supplies untouched by the outside chaos. Zhang Yi led Zhou Haimei to a quiet room, offering her a moment to recover while he contemplated the looming retaliation from Sudong village. The villagers, now aware of his lethal efficiency, would likely seek vengeance, and the distant silhouettes of more villagers on the ice suggested a broader conflict was on the horizon. Zhang Yi's internal monologue settled on a simple creed: avoid unnecessary battles, but if provoked, he would eradicate any threat without hesitation. The chapter closed with him standing at the threshold, the weight of his choices pressing against the cold wind that seeped through the shelter's walls. The narrative painted a stark picture of survival amid frozen hostility, juxtaposing Zhang Yi's calculated use of interdimensional power with the raw, emotional responses of the villagers and his own companions. The tension between duty, personal desire for peace, and the inexorable pull of conflict set the stage for an inevitable clash, leaving readers poised on the edge of the next icy confrontation. Zhang Yi returns to the shelter after the ambush and is greeted by Zhou Ke, who presses his arm between her ample breasts while offering hot drinks and noodles, her tone laced with obvious rivalry toward Zhou Haimei. The tension eases when Zhang Yi invites Zhou Haimei to sit, and Zhou Ke, realizing she is not a direct competitor for his affection, retreats to the living room to chat, her earlier hostility softening. Their conversation shifts to Uncle Yu's condition. Zhou Ke reports that his body has healed far faster than any normal recovery, that even a muscle relaxant fails to curb his strength, and that his mind remains clear, suggesting a physical enhancement mutation rather than a detrimental one. Later, Zhang Yi enters the ward to find Uncle Yu perched on the bed, phone in hand, making odd noises. Uncle Yu quickly hides his phone as Zhang Yi enters, and the two exchange casual banter about the apocalypse and the fortunes of the wealthy. Uncle Yu then proudly displays his transformed physique, a defined six-pack despite bandages, and demonstrates his newfound strength by twisting the wrought iron bars of the bed frame until they deform. Zhang Yi, recognizing the significance, explains that Uncle Yu has awakened a powerful ability, and proceeds to showcase telekinesis by prompting Uncle Yu to slap the bed, causing the frame to bend further. The revelation cements Uncle Yu's trust in Zhang Yi, confirming his status as a valuable ally. With the mutation now evident, Zhang Yi turns the conversation toward companionship, asking Uncle Yu directly if he desires a wife. He promises to find a beautiful, mature, elegant lady who will suit Uncle Yu's preferences. The unexpected proposal startles Uncle Yu, but his longing for a partner, still unfulfilled since Xia Limei's death, quickly turns the surprise into eager acceptance. He nods enthusiastically, demanding to see his future wife, while Zhang Yi smiles knowingly, hinting that the shelter's social bonds are about to deepen alongside its growing strength.